What's going on, guys? Kyle here with Gnarly Knives. Got another video today for you guys. It's going to do a little bit different. It's going to be kind of a first impressions and just, random general chit chat and stuff. So I did recently pick up a knife about a week ago, last Saturday or Sunday, I forget which. But I picked up a new Benchmade. It's the Benchmade Tactical Triage. It's actually really cool. I actually really was unfamiliar with the knife. I had heard it mentioned in other videos and stuff. People talk about it, but I don't know, I just never really thought too much about it. And a lot of times when I go to my local Army Navy store and buy knives, I usually have a pretty good idea of what I want to get. But sometimes I just like going in there and just seeing what they have. And this was one of those times, and I picked up this little honey. I don't know, it's actually a pretty sweet knife. It's actually kind of funny because it does have some functions with it that I actually had no idea about until after I had bought it. And I was listening to a video on the drive home. I was not watching it, I was listening to it. Distracted driving, try not to do that. But I was listening to the video and mentioned a few things about it that I really didn't know when I was looking at it and playing with it when I bought it. So it is a really cool knife. It's S30V. It's knocked the specs out super quick. So you have a 3.5-inch blade and about a 3.25-inch cutting edge, which is actually pretty good. And then also, we always talk about most places 3.5 inches is the legal limit. So you are right within that, depending where you live. And the overall length on the knife itself it's like 8.33 inches is what it says online. So that works out. It's a little over a quarter of an inch, a little over 8.25 inches. Say maybe 8 5/16 or something. It's not a light knife. It's a little over 5 ounces. It's like 5.3 ounces, something like that. So if you're familiar with, if you have Ontario Rat 1, that's right at 5 ounces. So this is just a tad heavier. But when we go over the other little functions with it, it might explain that little extra bit of weight. It's a really nice knife. They do come in different variations, because after I got it, I did some research. The idea with this knife is more for like rescue, police, fire, EMS, even military, I imagine. Hold on, I forgot I took one of the stones out of the water. That's what we're going to be doing too. Because I'm going to keep the factory bevel and everything, but I'm just going to throw a little bit cleaner of an edge on it. But what I was saying is, so it's definitely designed more as a first responder kind of knife, and they do have a couple of variations. This one's the tactical triage, so, with that more in mind, this one geared more towards your police, SWAT, military. The other ones I would say definitely probably aimed more for like fire, paramedic, EMS, stuff like that, your first responders. Because this one, being the tactical, it has the black blade, has the black handles, black line. Like, the knife is murdered out. Like, everything is black on this knife. The axis lock, everything. It is really cool. It is a lot of fun to play with, just as any other Benchmade would be. And, like I said, this is, being the tactical triage, the standard one. They do come a few different blade shapes. They have one that's more of a sheep's foot blade, and it's non-coated. And then you have one where the blade's kind of just flat, so instead of having a tip, it's just flat. So I guess more for safety cutting, anything like that. It also, you can get it coated, non-coated, and you can also get it serrated or non-serrated. Like I've mentioned in other videos, I'm just really not big with serrations. I have nothing against them. It's just I don't find them to be that necessary for my everyday usage. I do cut, rope and stuff sometimes, but with the amount that I'm cutting, just have a nice sharp edge, it's absolutely fine. If I was cutting rope all the time, yeah, I'd probably consider something with serrations, but like I said, just not really something I need as of now. So what is also cool about this, so like I said, it has some other functions with it. So it does have the glass breaker in the back. It's funny, it's kind of tough to pick up. You can kind of see the point on it, but it is also blacked out, so it makes it, you can kind of see that little nubbin there, if you will. Like I've said in other videos, like with the first impressions on the Benchmade Contago, which also has the glass breaker. To be completely honest, if I had to break glass, something like that, I'd be more apt to just use the tip of the blade, but, that's just me, If you're trying to get yourself out of a vehicle, if you cut yourself on glass breaking out, I mean, the last thing you worry about is some cuts and scrapes. You can get stitched up later, so that is pretty cool. But with a very interesting part, and this was the part that when I was listening to the video especially, I was just like, what? Like, I just couldn't believe it. But it has a seatbelt cutter. And it actually is pretty cool. It's really sharp. Like, you can feel it. It really, they sharpened this really well. And it's non-locking, so you just, open it, close it. And from what I believe it's 440C is the steel they use for the cutter, which is fine. I mean, 440 is it's an adequate steel, but this isn't something that you're going to be, even if you are, a first responder of any sort, you know what? I'm sure you would use this way more than the average person, but you're probably not going to be using this as much as you would your standard blade, from what I imagine anyway. Even I showed it to my old man he worked EMS for about 15 years when I was younger, and he thought the knife was kind of cool, but, most of the time they have tools and other stuff that you can use, but this is just good, in a pinch. He thought it was cool. He's like, oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I probably would have carried that work in the ambulance, so, yeah, thought that was interesting. But it's funny. It is a really nice knife. It's very sleek, and it's not, like the typical knife I would go for. I feel like I've said that in a bunch of videos. There are a lot of knives I have I feel like aren't typical knives I would go for, but just more in the style. I'm not like huge with coatings, but this just really appealed to me. It is a very attractive knife, and I really like the G10 on it. I love G10. It's one of my favorite knife handle materials. It's really rugged, and it holds up really well. But what I do find kind of funny with this, just because geared more towards your first responder, police, military, whoever. But the handles are actually very slick. Like, they're smooth. They're very comfortable. They're nice. Like, this is a very comfortable knife, and it feels really good in the hand. But I feel like for, that first responder, you'd think something a little more with, like, grip on it. But I guess at the same time, too, you'd probably be wearing gloves. So that would definitely alleviate that issue. But it does also have some jimping with it that also does help out. So even though the handles themselves are smooth, in the finger groove, right by the finger guard, this whole area does have jimping, so that gives you some good grip. And then, like most Benchmades, at least that I have, so right in the little thumb ramp area by the blade has some jimping. And then the back of the knife, so line, why can't I think of the word? But right in the back of the blade here, though, it does have some jimping. This is plastic, the jimping. I feel like it reminds me of, I think that, like, the nylon handles. The handle material is similar that they use on the standard Griptilian, mini Griptilian, and some others. But it works. I mean, the knife stays in your hand, and the groove, it does, but just like I said, I mean, if it was like my hands were wet, or if it was hot and, I'm sweating, I feel like it'd probably be slipping around a little bit, but if you're wearing gloves, I don't see that being a problem. But yeah, it's a fun knife. I've been playing with it a lot, the last week, and, I have been using it, and, I mean, the knife is sharp, Benchmade, everyone I've gotten has always been, shaving sharp, and I've been pretty lucky with having the bevel grinds be even. I know, some, that whole, like, Benchmade quality control stuff. The only thing I noticed with this, and it's, like, barely, I don't even think it would notice or show up really on camera. It is, like, minimally off-center. Actually, it's funny. It shows up a little more on the camera than it actually does. But it's fine. There's zero blade play, left or down, up or right. And it's a very cool knife. And I thought it was kind of cool, too, because, like, we were talking a little bit about with having the seatbelt cutter, they also give you a little ramp for your thumb here. So you just press the thumb, and then there's a little jimping, a little finger groove, So it's pretty cool. And I like that the size of it is actually pretty big. So that way, I mean, you could definitely resharpen it, even just using, like, a little rod or something. Definitely wouldn't have any issues at all. So, as we were mentioning about doing the sharpening, so I'm just going to bring you guys down a little bit. And then, I completely forgot. Yeah, so it's the weekend, long week, whatever. So I got a little Jameson here. Don't mind me. I drink it out of the bottle. I just how I prefer it. Sorry, I'm a barbarian. Some good stuff. Set that aside. So like I said, I'm just gonna do 1,000 grit edge. I'm not gonna go to town with it just yet. Doing, you know, reprofile and what was I gonna say? Doing like a reprofile and a mirror polish. All I really want to do is just kind of clean the edge up a little bit, get the initial grind marks out. You're doing pretty good there. Just making sure it's sticking with the angle. And this is not, I'm not doing a tutorial or anything. This is just more messing around. Probably not going to do the full sharpening on the video. I just kind of wanted to, you know, just kind of give an idea if anybody was ever wondering what I generally do with my knives for the initial sharpening, because a lot of the times with the knives that I do my reviews on, the knives I've had for a long time, since long before the channel started, so I've already done that full process of doing, you know, my initial, just, you know, throw my edge on with the factory bevel and then see how I like that, and then, you know, sometimes I'll reprofile or anything like that. But it's actually, I don't know, they've ground this relatively thin behind the edge compared to some others. So I don't know if, let's see. Oh, so you're already starting to get a little burr. I don't know, I do. I love S30V. It really is a good steel. And then also too, I should probably mention the price with it. So generally, what I've seen, actually I looked probably 10 minutes before this video. So this knife, in the variation I have it right now, the tactical version, all this and that, it is going for right around 200. They do, like I said, have the other variants with it. The one with the orange handle, that one I saw on Amazon's going for 165. So just something to consider. But everything else is the same. They use the same steel, same materials. It's just literally that, you know, this one just has a different blade shape, and they blacked out the blade and everything else with it, which is absolutely fine. It's one of the things I kind of like really appealed to me about it, you know, because I think I've mentioned before, I probably already mentioned it in the video, you know, I'm just not really huge with coated blades, but I really like how Benchmade's is held up. Because I think one of the things that's funny, it's like, you know, I like patina on a blade. I like when a knife wears and everything. You know, even when it starts getting the scratches over, you know, long periods of use. But for some reason, it's not quite the same with me with blade coatings. I'm not really sure why that is. You know, because I mean, I love when, like, the pocket clips are black and those wear off and stuff. It gives it that more, you know, character, that, you know, used look, if you will. But the blades, for some reason, I don't know why. Just not especially nuts. But having, you know, the Benchmade Freak, that, you know, has been my work knife for the last year or so, that one is held up insanely well. I mean, you know, it's definitely got little blemishes and stuff, a few scratches just from use, but it's not like those painted blades, you know, you cut a few things and then half the coatings come off. So I don't know, that's one thing why with this. And I've also noticed with my Manix 2, my Spyderco has a, I don't know if it's the exact same coating that they use, but that is held up really well as well. But I don't know, I think part of it is just, I like that look, that kind of satin or whatever, just that metal look. It's just, I don't know, I guess it's just a preference of mine. So let's see. Nice. Gotten all the scratches out. Sweet. And we've stuck with that nice bevel. But no, but this is a really great knife, guys. And oh, sorry, I don't know if you can hear that sound in the background. It's just water rushing. I think someone's taking a shower. I'll reposition you here. Take a quick Jameson break. Any other guys like whiskey? What kind do you guys like? Oh, that's some good stuff. I don't know. I've tried like other, you know, I like Jack. Jack's pretty good. You know, I've had some others, but I don't know. Jameson's just been my drink of choice, I guess. I'll drink others, but Generally, it's just, I don't know, I just love Jameson. I think a lot of it's because when I was younger, my father, he would drink that a lot. He was actually a big Crown guy. I don't know, Crown Royal's pretty good too. I mean, it's also more expensive, but I don't know, Jameson, it's just right for me. But, curious, what do you guys think? You guys like Jameson, or what do you guys like to drink? Okay, I never was really a big beer person. I don't know, I always find, I mean, I've never really been a huge drinker person, I guess, drinker person. I've never really been huge with drinking, but I don't know, sometimes I do. I do enjoy it. Especially like today, just after a long week. It wasn't even long like it was like bad. It was just long. Just I guess every week is long. The weekend goes by in like 10 seconds, and then it takes like 5 years to hit Friday again. Not even just Friday, hit Friday afternoon. And you just can't wait to get out of work. But if I didn't work, I couldn't have the knives, though, right? Let's see. It's getting pretty good, getting close. Well, like I said, I don't know if I'll do finish sharpening it on video. I mean, we're a little over 16 minutes in now. But, I don't know, guys. I hope there's something that you'll think about. I mean, it is a pretty cool knife, but especially if you are in, a first responder of some sorts, military, police. And if you are, thank you very much for your service and everything you do. Major respect. But I think this will be a good knife for you guys. Just because, like I said, the extra features and such. And they do have, like I said, the other options. So definitely make it more conducive to what your set of needs are. Because this too also has, has the swedge and everything. So this is definitely made more for piercing, if you will. Which is absolutely fine. I mean, it's not something I use my knives for, but, but if you're in a field or position where you need to, having the swedge and everything and the drop point and such definitely would be a lot better than the sheep's foot, and definitely a hell of a lot better than that flat blunted tip that they also have. But I mean, I myself, I'm just more of a collector, and I mean, I use all my knives, but doesn't mean I always necessarily use them for their intended design purposes. But I don't know, that's just me, I guess. But I mean, like I said, it's just a first impression. Probably a few months from now, I will definitely do a full review on it after I get more intimate with it, more usage and everything, and I'll try and get some, I'll see if I can actually get some seatbelt, because I have a few junkyards around here, around where I live, so I could definitely get some seatbelt. Maybe we could try it out in the video, see how well it actually works, and then, I don't know, see how easy it would be to maybe sharpen it. But this is something, because, with the seatbelt cutter, it's something not like with the regular knife edge. It's not something I'm just going to, go and throw a sharp, throw a new edge on or anything. It's not like that. I guess it will be cool though, just do like a nice mirror polished edge on the seatbelt cutter. But I don't have the resources for that yet. Though it would be pretty cool. But anyway, you guys, I hope you do like this video. I hope, give you some stuff to think about. And you guys, remember, have a great rest of your day, your weekend. It is the weekend. It's Friday. Or depending when you watch this, right now it's Friday. When it's posted, it will be Friday. But you guys, remember to please comment, subscribe, share. And, but remember to please, sorry about that. Just I got distracted there. But guys, remember, please comment, subscribe, share. Check us out on Instagram at Gnarly Knives. And please remember to stay sharp, keep carving, and get your drink on. I love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.